Hello everybody, how are you doing? This is Amanda. Today is May the 1st, 2020, and we are celebrating Beltane, which is a Gaelic festival, pagan Gaelic festival. I think it's usually positioned between spring equinox and the height of summer, and it's to do with welcoming in fertility and new life. It's not going to be the subject matter of this video though, although I do want to wish you a happy Beltane. This video is going to look at the subject of duality, and I know that some people are going to be discovering this who don't normally follow me. So welcome firstly to anybody that's new to this channel. Welcome also to all of my usual viewers. Thank you so much for all of your support. Metatron has said to me today that this is the video that some people might not want, but it is the one that they need. What he means by that is there are probably a lot more video subjects that I could potentially do today that would be more sexy and inviting in terms of subject matter. That would capture people's attention. But I'm not going to play that game. I've been asked to comment on a lot of the material that is currently online at the moment, linked into darkness being exposed in our midst. And this is my response to that. So on my channel, we're not going to be calling out anybody's particular names. I'm not into name calling, whether they are dark or not. So I do have some rules in terms of posting comments. If you put links where you're naming people, naming and shaming, they are not going to be put up and approved by me. And I will explain why, because I've actually got 11 points to go through in terms of talking about duality, and we're going to be focusing particularly on light and darkness, good and bad in our world, to try to give some context to what is out there at the moment and deeper understanding. And it's actually going to be about inviting you to do some inner work on yourself. And one of the 11 points is to do with not projecting outward stuff that we need to be looking at inward. Hence, I'm not going to be putting allowing names up. And equally, there's a lot to be said about the different roles that people play in any particular incarnation, and you having to also own the fact that you may very well and will have been somebody in a past life that did bad deeds. Okay, so it's going to be a bit maybe of an uncomfortable ride, but I really hope it's going to be an illuminating ride. If you get triggered by the material, I would encourage you just to switch off and come back to it if you choose to. But it's something that I'm very much called to do and talk about. And I also know that not everybody's ready to hear this message. Okay, so there's no shame in that. It's actually teaching information that I have had was given to me. It's always information that's passed on, probably around 2005. And it's taken me quite a few years to process it myself. So I'm not expecting people to just instantly get it if this is the first time you hear about some of the themes that I'm going to be discussing in this video. I will put timestamps on, and I'll try, I can't be too rigid about it, but I'll try to break it up into these 11 points. But of course there are going to be overlap. So you can look below for some of the particular subjects that we're going to be talking about in this video. Before we do any of that, I'd like to actually bring in a prayer and a blessing. And Metatron is inviting us to call in our higher self to be able to really be truly aligned and present with us whilst we listen to this material, okay? And I was drawn to pick a card from a deck by Lucy Cavendish called Blessed Be. And a card kept coming up 3 times in a row until I actually read the message, and it's completely perfect for all of us. and it's a blessing on your wisdom, a blessing on your wisdom. So we're going, and it does look very Beltane, doesn't it? Beltane is linked into the energy of the goddess as well. So I'm going to just read you a very short little blessing for all of us, and then we'll get into the work, because this is work, okay? But I'll try and make it as interesting as possible. So let's just call in our higher self, and I've already cleared the space, but I'm just going to bring in the energy of the orange flame, which is Metatron, Archangel Metatron, my guide. So the blessing is, we ask now for blessing on our wisdom, that we may grow in our own wise ways, that no experience in this life shall be wasted, that from every encounter and every interaction with human, animal, tree and stone, you begin to observe keenly how the world works and the natural way of things. You begin to understand deeply through experience the fall of leaves and the quiet cold of winter, the shuddering rebirth of spring and the fullness of light and warmth that is summer. Every season is your teacher. You come to know that you can be of assistance, but you cannot force. You come to acknowledge your influence, but also your lack of control. Yet you strive always to be a positive influence and an example of kindness within the world. And you use your anger and your dissatisfaction to motivate you to create a better world within your own life. And through that, you influence all that is around and about you. To be wise is to grow and to change, and to still be hopeful, kind and good. It is no longer to be gullible or foolish or naive. It is to know how to act and to behave in ways that others can draw strength from. So, friend, a blessing on your wisdom, that the wise ways, the wise blood shall rise and sing their song of experience to you once again. Blessed be. So now we have that sacred circle energy around us and our higher selves here with us as we listen. Let's get into the teaching, shall we? So most of you know, but for those of you that don't, I work with the energy of Archangel Metatron. Archangel Metatron is many things, but he is a master teacher when it comes to looking at duality. Now, duality, which exists, is to do with finding balance between two polar opposites, is of course about many things. It's about masculine and feminine, and many things. But in this particular video, we're going to be focusing in on the energy of light and dark, good and evil, as I have already talked about, okay? And we see from the yin-yang symbol here that what duality teaches is that we need to start to understand the sacred circle of life, and that for life to exist as we know it at the moment, where duality consciousness still is the consciousness that humanity has chosen, I'll come back to that, it has chosen, there is this dance between the dark and the light, the good and the bad. So we have to ask ourselves, firstly, why would we have chosen that dance? Why, as a species, humanity, have we chosen to experience duality consciousness, which is the two opposing forces trying to come to some form of balance? And sometimes in our world, of course, we feel as though one side has got more control than another. And certainly at the moment, there is a plethora of information, material and energy arising, which is showing us the darkness in our world, the darkness that has actually already been there. It's just that now we are putting some potential faces onto it. It's almost as though the beast is being given some faces. But the beast has always been there. The beast has also been there since millennia. You know, it's been there in every single incarnation that we've had on this planet. So why? Why would we have chosen that? And it is my belief, not just my belief, many people's beliefs, that as a species, we chose duality because it was able to demonstrate in a very physical way the concept of separation, of being separated from something. The thing that we feel separated from is God or source, oneness. And so to experience that state of separation was for us a journey back to God, almost a journey which we chose, which was to do with forgetting that actually we always were truly connected. We never were separated from God. That's the journey back. But within that play, because ultimately it is a play that we are all in Earth, we're all playing different roles. We chose a number of different identities, and we chose these different identities over a number of different lifetimes. And in some lifetimes we were good, and in other lifetimes we weren't so good. But all of it was about trying to experience what it feels like to be separated from God. If you think about the analogy, I'm going to call it analogy, of the Garden of Eden story, it's all there. We were in Eden. We were in front of the sacred tree, which links into the tree of knowledge. Everything was there within the garden. And then humanity was expelled from Eden. Being expelled from Eden is linked into being separated and expelled from that sacred tree, from the source of all that is. The thing is, we chose to do that because we chose to take the bite of the apple. Choosing to take the bite of the apple was a collective consciousness choice, I'm hearing. It wasn't down to one person. It wasn't down to a rash moment of indecision, a rash moment where a decision was made that has affected us all for thousands of years. No. What we need to get to a place of understanding is that all of us are an expression of the one. And so a decision that is made, in this instance by Eve, she made that decision on behalf of us all. And it was a process of being thrown out to actually regain entry back in. And the exciting thing is that we are on the cusp of remembering that actually the gate was always open. The gate to Eden was always open. It was an illusion that we couldn't get back in. By getting back in, I'm talking about getting closer to God, source, being at one with that. And part of that is about remembering that we are God, of course, as well. So point number one, duality. Why? And when does it stop? It stops when we remember that we are one with God, but equally, it isn't just an individual flashbulb moment. We have to get to a place where we remember that every single living thing is God. And it's interesting that that blessing that I read out at the start of this video talked about a blessing on every human, just want to get the exact words that it said, because it was absolutely spot on. It said a blessing on every human, every animal, every tree, and every stone. Getting to a point where we recognize God within every single aspect of that. Recognizing God within the natural world, recognizing God within every human, whether they be good or bad. God is still within every single living thing. It might be a small spark in somebody that's playing a very dark role in this lifetime, but there is still the light of God in there, even if it is being masked and camouflaged by a lot of darkness. It's still within there. And indeed, we're going to go on and look at the role that these darker figures play in our world anyway. So we have to remember that we are all one. And until we do that, then, and until we choose to not experience a sense of separation, duality will continue to play out. We also have to get to a point where we recognize that, let's talk about light and dark. Light and dark are just two sides of the same coin. On one side we might have light, on the other side we might have darkness, but it's basically the same coin. Coin is representative of state of being, God, effectively, okay? And make no mistake about it, duality will carry on as a consciousness on this planet until we choose, as a species, that we no longer need it. The thing that worries me, no, not worries me, because that's putting, that's putting something else into it that doesn't need to be there. The thing that I have observed that is very marked at the moment, that's a better way of saying it, is that as the darkness starts to arise in our world, and we are hearing all these stories of people doing this, elites doing that, etc., we are still in an extreme state of separation, because what we're doing is we're pointing the finger at them as being separate to us and not appreciating that them that we're pointing at, the ones that are doing the wrong, are also part of this same coin. They can't not be. They can't not be part of the whole. So, come to point 2, I want to talk a little bit about we need to get to an awareness, and this only makes sense in terms of past life incarnations, that we have been both sides of the coin. You have been both sides of the coin. I have been both sides of the coin. In this lifetime, you may be very proud and pleased that you're on the bright, shiny side of the coin, okay? That you are living in the light, you are doing good works, I hope you are, that you are helping humanity, that you are serving God, etc. In other lifetimes, you have been something else. And until you and I and we, because we are all one, you, I, we, get to a place where we truly understand that we have been both, we are going to keep perpetuating this game that is being played on our earth at the moment, which is to do with separating out you're bad, I'm good. You know, it's like two different camps is what Metatron is showing me. Two different camps. In one camp, we've got all of the good people. In the other camp, we've got all of the bad uns, okay? Some of these people are really dark and really evil. And there is this, we're hearing it, aren't we? There's this battle on between good and evil. But we've got to get to a place where we can both look at each other and see an aspect of ourselves in the opposing camp. Now, it's easy to think about the people in the bad camp, you know, the people that are the evil ones, the dark ones. We look at them and we think, oh, I really hope you see us here. I really hope you see our light. Because if you see our light, maybe you're going to change. Maybe we're going to be able to illuminate you and change your energy. And indeed, that would be a helpful thing at the moment if that happens. But what about the other side? Okay, what about the other side? And as soon as I say that, I'm feeling a great load of you like, oh no, I don't want to do that. Because a lot of us are here. We're in this camp. We're the good guys in this lifetime. We're fighting the good fight, okay? We don't want to see any part of ourselves in this crowd over here. We just want to keep them as far away from us as possible. to point the finger, to separate from them, to portray these people as monsters, which they may very well be, but it's easier for us to see them as a monster or as alien to us rather than actually an aspect of us. Because here's the nub. In duality consciousness, which is what we have chosen as a species for planet Earth, you are always going to have these two camps. You can't not, because we're back to the energy of light and dark. And so these people here in this camp are taking that role because this lot here have chosen to not do that in this particular lifetime. Should we just pause to let that sink in? Okay, because I know it's a triggering point. I know it's a triggering point. Who wants to be these guys? I can't see a lot of hands going up in the air. These people here in the camp of bad and evil are completely separated, not completely, they are sometimes 95% separated from God and Source, okay? They are not filled with the light. They are filled with the energy of fear and control, manipulation, anger, anything else you want to throw at it. It's a dark, heavy vibration to be in this camp, okay? In this camp, it feels much nicer. I'd much prefer to stand here, thank you very much, and be in this camp. But yet, on a planet of duality, you've got to have both. You have to have both. And I'll come to why you have to have both in a moment. So, I don't think I'm going to do it in this video, but I am going to do it probably in another video very soon. I want to bring through, what Metatron is saying is the only way people are going to get this in terms of really truly accepting it, not just at a mental level, but at a physical level, so your body remembers it too. The only way we're really going to get it in terms of all of our senses, that I actually have been that, just as much as I'm this, is to bring in some form of meditation where we're taken into a higher cathedral and we are shown, without getting into the story and the energy, we're shown ourselves where we've played the hero and we've also played the villain. And we're going to be shown a lifetime where we really were the villain, okay? We really were that person that in this lifetime at the moment, we are naming, shaming, pointing out, and playing the old game of, oh God, you know, look at that. Whereas actually, if we can get to a place where we truly realise that we've been this as well, and equally these people remember that I've also been that, then you get to integration. And when you get to true integration, it's almost like the game is over because both sides realise they've played both roles. What I'm being shown here by Metatron is almost like these two camps of soldiers, light and dark, and both sides are actually really weary. That might surprise you because the thing is, as light workers, how many times have we said, oh my God, I'm weary for this fight. I'm so weary of fighting for the light. When is the world going to change? When is the world going to wake up? When is light going to prevail? When is New Earth going to come in? When is enlightenment happening? What I'm being shown is these guys here as well. Even though on the surface you might think they're having a great time because they might have all the money, they've got all the luxury villas, whatever it is. That's just superficial surface stuff. You know, in terms of real higher consciousness, that is nothing. You know, we all are souls which have multitude of lifetimes. The ones right now on the battlefield playing this role are just as weary as us. Just as weary as us. Both sides actually wanting to put down the swords and come to, I'm just seeing a white flag, okay? Which is just like surrender. It's almost as though Okay, we've all, as a species, as individuals, we've suddenly remembered we've all played these different roles. And because we've suddenly remembered we've all played these different roles, and it's literally a case of, oh, okay, so you're that in this lifetime, are you? I actually remember when you were something else. When we truly remember that, we can put down that game of duality and we can move on to a day where actually we don't have to play this game of this dance between dark and light. But we're not near that yet, you know. That's what this video is trying to articulate, which is some of the blocks we've got to getting to that place of deeper understanding. And it's so entrenched, guys. It's so entrenched. As I'm sitting here, I've now got this is to do with traditional religion as well. I grew up I've often said, Christian upbringing, and it was all to do with the devil, the devil's energy, and obviously, Christ. And it's like these two opposing forces at war with each other. Christ was tempted by the devil, of course. But so this is so endemic in our society. We grew up with this fight. I've got the hymn now in my head, "Fight the Good Fight." Don't know if any of you know that hymn, but it's all, the media is set up like this as well, that this fight between dark and light, films are linked into dark and light. The inspired, enlightened filmmakers usually get to a place later on in the series of films where you start to understand that actually both sides are actually in a state of coexistence and are entwined with each other and have aspects of each other within them. I keep hearing Star Wars in my head. I'm not a Star Wars buff. I mean, I watched it in the 70s, but I haven't watched it since. But I know there's something linked into Star Wars here, and a character in Star Wars that is important. Maybe I just need to pause this camera and go and find what it is. I'm just going to pause the camera. Hold on. Okay, I've got it. I was hearing Darth Vader in my head, and just found this. So it's actually somebody's blog, so appreciative to the person who has written this. It's a blog called Star Wars Saved My Life. He says, "I've grown increasingly fascinated with the character of Darth Vader. His is a tragic story, and one that perhaps was trivialized to some extent in the original trilogy. When Star Wars was first released in 1977, Darth Vader was a mysterious character. He appeared part human, part robot, and all evil. As the trilogy unfolded, we learned more about his journey and the path that he was on, leading to his eventual redemption. He was a father. His son was the only person to reach out to him from a place of love. The cliched term love conquers all can actually be applied here. Luke risks his own life to ultimately save his father, who then sacrifices his life to save his son, earning him the ability to truly rest in peace with his former Jedi allies from long ago. Darth Vader is capable of loving and being loved. He was arguably the second most evil person in the galaxy, next to the Emperor, and still was able to redeem himself through sacrificing his life so his son could live on. You see, so there's this dance between light and dark within that character, Darth Vader. It says here there is a particularly upsetting scene when Anakin goes to the Jedi temple to destroy the younglings. This to me is the real turning point when Anakin becomes Vader. Vader really turns evil, but eventually reverts back to his Jedi-like ways at the end of his journey. This is what really fascinates me about the character. So, hey, if you're a Star Wars buff, you'll be able to talk about it much more knowledgeably than I just have. But I'm just being shown, this dualistic character of some of these big characters in film. Because what Beth's trying to say to me, and I've said this before, is it's what Shakespeare said: all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. That is the truth. That is the truth. If you look at this from a a soul journey's perspective, we have played all of the roles on the world stage. But even when we're playing a particular role, be it good or be it bad, we have within us all aspects of the Godhead. So within somebody who is very dark and evil, there is the potential for changing and recognizing the light again. And in people that are very, light and good, there is also the potential, absolutely, for being drawn to the shadow, like moths, moths, being drawn to that, and also succumbing to darkness. Okay, so it's an intelligent and a more mature way to look at the world, rather just than this separation game that we're all in at the moment, which is, I'm in this camp, I'm working for the light, you're the bad ones over there, I'm pointing you out, I'm shaming you. That is awakening. It's only one aspect of awakening, guys. It's, the great awakening. The greatest awakening, the greatest awakening is actually not discovering that darkness exists in our world. Darkness has always existed in our world. Darkness has existed in every single incarnation that you have ever had on this world, in this earth. It can't not have done, because it's a dualistic earth. So the awakening is not remembering that, oh gosh, there's darkness here, and this is the characters in this lifetime that are playing these roles. That's part of awakening. It's not the whole awakening. The real awakening is when you actually understand, okay, there's a part of me that is within that, and there's equally, these people are remembering there's a part of me that is within that, and remembering that actually both are just different aspects of the same coin. And it literally is. It's like, I can't flip a coin. I've never been able to do cool things like that in my life. But, Metatron's just showing me now, like when you flip a coin, and it's literally, it sounds flippant, but he's saying sometimes it's like that. Pre-incarnation, particularly for old souls that have been here a long time, it's like, let's just flip a coin. Which side are we going to play in this lifetime? Oh, damn, really? Have I really got to go over to that camp again and play that role? Oh, please no, everyone hates me here. I just get all the rotten tomatoes thrown at me here for good reason, okay? I'm not saying not for good reason. Do I really have to go and do that again? When are they going to wake up down there that actually we're all one? When are they going to wake up that actually we're all one? Flip of a coin. In this lifetime, oh, what a relief. I'm going to be the good guy. Excellent. Get me down there. Okay. Another flip of the coin. Oh, actually, okay, I'm going to be that person, am I? And you see, this isn't just about the big players in our world in terms of dark elites or anything like that. This is to do with your life. It's to do with the people in your life, that the ones that are playing the heavier role, the ones that have been the most difficult people in your life, okay? The ones that have pushed you, hurt you, betrayed you, whatever they've done, they are playing a role in exactly the same way that you are playing a role. And I know that triggers people like hell, but it is what I truly, truly believe. And it only makes sense if you can view these things from a much higher perspective, bring your higher self in, and remember all of your lives. Can you just stop for one moment and just look behind you like that? And just let Metatron show you the great big trail which is behind you. And that great big trail is all of the different lives that you have led. I'm looking behind me and I'm just seeing lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And what's interesting is he's showing me a line of dominoes. When you line up dominoes, and half of the dominoes are black and half of the dominoes are white, okay? Implying good and evil, okay? So it's like I've had equal measure of playing both sides of the coin. And what's so interesting is as I'm looking behind, what God, Metatron, who is God's servant, is wanting to do is, the line of dominoes and somebody just flicks it and they all just like, they all fall over. They all go flat. That's what God's wanting to do. And what he means by that is it's like game over. When you actually really remember and truly understand and can integrate, I've been all of that. Whoa. That's a long path. How many lifetimes has it taken me to get to the point where I truly understand that the person over here, okay, in the news at the moment, who's just being exposed as the latest, you know, horrible whatever, you know, oh my God, I've sort of done that. I did that maybe 1,000 years ago. I did that 100 years ago. Whatever lifetime it was. Thank God I'm not playing that part now. Thank God I'm not playing that part now. Okay? But look behind me. Yeah, I've done that. Metatron's showing me now a tick list. He's showing me a tick list. Literally like a great big long tick list that the soul comes in with. You know, this goes back millennia. And your soul, just as much as my soul, over many lifetimes has ticked off, I've been that, I've been that, yeah, I've been that, didn't particularly like that one. I've been that was good, that was cool, yeah, I was a hero in that. Been that, yeah, that was horrible, I got, you know, my head chopped off. I've been that, I've been that, I've been that. Up to present day. 2020. Clear, I actually wanted to say crystal vision, okay? Not 2020, I'm hearing crystal vision. And very much like a crystal, where's one of my crystals? Surrounded by them, I'm looking for this one. Very much like a crystal is multifaceted. Look at this crystal, okay? And it's beautiful, this, isn't it? But just as this is multifaceted, and I can turn this, and you can see different things as I turn it, you too are starting to remember that you have been every single facet of what it is to be human, what it is to experience separation from God. In some lifetimes you felt very, very separated, you're in that camp. In other lifetimes you're feeling much closer aligned to God. You might have been a monk, you might have been a nun, you might have been a preacher, you might have been a teacher, you might have been whatever, you know. But equally, it's the checklist. It's like pre-incarnation. Which role shall I play? Okay, I'm going to do that this time. The other thing you also need to appreciate is that we are all from different soul groups, and soul groups tend to congregate back together. So when you're making your decision in your family, or you're making your decision in your community, or your country, or the world, you are coming to a form of agreement in terms of, if I play that, can you play this for me? Okay, if you play that role, can you do that? There is a pre-agreement to all of it. There's a pre-agreement to all of it. Right, let's move on to the next point. Okay, point 4, I think I'm up to point 4, is actually the healing meditation, which I'm not going to do in this video, because it needs a standalone one, and I will bring that through at some point as soon as possible. We'll let this video just sort of ripple out first and have a pushback I'm hearing, and then it will ripple out again, and then we'll bring the meditation through. I want to call this video, how interesting that this candle is just going out. Can you see the colour of that? It's a violet candle. I'll relight it in a moment. But I think what I'm going to call this video is red pill, blue pill, violet pill, as the violet candle goes out. And the reason for that is that there's lots of information at the moment on lots of channels, and spiritual channels as well, people talking about the red pill, the blue pill. And what they mean by that is, have you swallowed the red pill? So blue pill is basically when you're blissfully ignorant. I can't believe most people are blissfully ignorant that there isn't evil in the world, but that's the illusion, that people are walking around really not understanding there is any darkness. But anyway, that's the blue pill. I'm not at all awake. I'm not at all aware of darkness or what's going on. I'm just sort of in my little bubble with my head in the sand. Red pill means that you've actually suddenly either been educated, told, or remembered that actually, oh my God, darkness does exist. And these are the people in this lifetime that are doing that. Oh my God, really? I didn't expect it of so-and-so. And it seems to have, I don't know, that this whole red pill, blue pill thing just is everywhere at the moment. What Metatron said to me is, yeah, get them to start to see the violet pill. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Violet is made up of red and blue. He's so clever, Metatron. What I mean by that is the violet pill is basically when you truly understand this. Okay, you truly understand this. Yeah, you've woken up. You've remembered that actually, okay, right, this is real. This is happening. Evil does exist in our world. Darkness is there. I'm very disappointed by that. I'm very sickened by that. Which, you know, you will be, you know, of course you will be. Nobody likes to look darkness in the face. I'm not trying to present that this is some sort of holiday camp thing here down on Earth. It's not. Every time we come, there's a battle, okay? And it's gruesome and sometimes it's bloody. And, you know, we've died for this stuff before. Playing both roles, actually, we've died, you know, playing both roles. So, you know, it's not a holiday camp, Earth. Earth is a place of huge learning, huge soul growth. So when you wake up and you remember these things about darkness and evil, or you watch something, yeah, it's shocking. It's shocking in every single incarnation. But what Metatron means by red pill, blue pill, violet pill is he says, let's get to the violet pill, because the violet pill is where you can stand back and you can send transmutation energy to all of it. Okay, you can let it go. Violet is also the colour of being able to see things from a higher perspective. And it is do you know how easy it is to sink back into separation? Some of you are already doing it. I can feel your energy as you're watching me. It's like there's aspects where, yeah, I get it. I get that this person is also me. But then it's so easy just to go back to, no, they're not. They're a monster. They're this, they're that. Totally forgetting that you have been that. And if you have been that, which you have and I have, there is a library within each of us of everything we've been, everything we are, and everything we will be, the Akashic record. But it's interesting, I pulled some cards before I started this, and I'm now realising what this means. Is this one was an obvious, okay, the Duality card came up. These are my cards from the Metatron deck that I created. We then got the Fire Dragon, okay, I'll come to that in a moment. To me, it's pretty obvious. Fire is a great transformative energy. I've also got my dragon here. It feels very protective. If I'm going to talk about evil and darkness, I also need to be protected. So the dragon energy is around me doing that. But then I pulled this card, which is the heart card, the green card of the heart chakra, the diamond, the octahedron. And I thought, what's that doing in this deck? I realise what it is now. It's the library. Within you is a library record. Within your blood, within your cells, within your DNA is the remembrance of everything that you have ever been in every single lifetime. Everything. So the violet pill is that. It's remembering that. That's truly the awakening. That's the awakening. The awakening isn't just about, the separation in terms of you're that, I'm this. So the violet pill is both camps suddenly remembering, laying down their arms, healing energy coming in, violet flame, and it's like game over. We move past duality consciousness. We cannot move past duality consciousness as a species until we've got this. And that is, what I've observed, especially into the spiritual community, which is disturbing, because I'm just seeing we're just in two separate camps. We're just in two separate camps. And actually the camps seem to be getting more and more extreme. So we've got to get to this place of owning our stuff, owning all of those lifetimes. Remember those dominoes. How many of your dominoes look dark? How many of those dominoes look clear and light-filled? Okay? Be honest. And if anybody is saying to me, all of my dominoes were light-filled, in every single lifetime I've been the hero, in every single lifetime I've been a good person, I'm going to look you in the eye and say, no, you take another look. Take off the rose-coloured glasses and take another look. And I know that sounds that's a bit strong, Metatron, but as he's saying, you tell them as it is. Take off the rose-coloured spectacles and look at who you really are. And then when you've truly honoured that and accepted that, and the meditation I'm going to bring out is going to help you, then when you look around the world and you start to see the darkness and the light, it will be a case of what Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. And then once we decide we don't want to play that game anymore, we can move beyond duality, but not until that moment. So that's why I started off this video by saying I don't want to allow comments here about watch this video, watch that video, which is giving you all the names in this incarnation, supposedly, allegedly, of who the bad guys are. Okay? I'm not playing that game because that's just separation to me. It's just separation consciousness. True transcendence of this stuff is being able to look at one of those baddies, okay, being presented with the evidence. And it's like, okay, you're playing that role. Tough luck that you got that choice in this lifetime. I'm glad I didn't have to do that. I'm not saying that the people that play dark roles in our society and commit bad things don't deserve judgment, but let God be the judge. Every time that you have played a darker role in the past, you will have when you passed over, you will have been presented to God, whatever you imagine God to be or look like, whether it's an energy, a man on a cloud, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever your version of God is, you will have sat before God after death, and you will have had to have looked at every single thing you did in that lifetime. And you will have had to have either atoned for it or whatever, you know? God is the judge. God is the judge. But equally, the courtroom at the moment is just full of people who are just playing these ancient roles that we have played for millennia. In many ways in this lifetime, when we get the names now, and it's like, oh, okay, you're the bad one, are you? I thought you were good, but actually you're bad. It's no different from lifetimes when we've been on a battlefield, an actual battlefield, because I was shown one of my lifetimes earlier, and it was a case of being on the battlefield. I was playing the hero in this particular lifetime, but equally I could have been the villain. But in this one, I was the hero. It was like a knight. It's like a Knight Templar type energy. And it was a battlefield, and I had the full armour on, I had my sword, and basically somebody stabbed me in the heart. They managed to get through the armour, they stabbed me in the heart, they killed me. And as I was dying, the person who killed me took off the, whatever it's called, the piece of armour so I could see their face. And I could see that the person who killed me was actually somebody who I thought was good, but obviously wasn't, okay? They were the dark, okay? So, it was like, oh, I didn't realise until my last breath in that lifetime that you were the one, you were dark, you were dark, you were the baddie. I didn't realise till my last breath. Well, in this lifetime, maybe we're being gifted the opportunity to see them a bit sooner than that, okay? But again, I keep coming back full circle until we understand the sacredness of the circle of life. Enlightenment is understanding that light and dark is one sacred circle. We're not going to get off the wheel. We need to get off the wheel. Well, we don't even need to. It's whether we choose to. I hope we choose to, personally, because I don't know about you, I'm sick of this dance. I'm sick of this dance between the two, you know? Do I have to come back in another lifetime and play a darker role again? God, I hope not. You know? Okay. I have no idea what number point this is. But anyway, I've got here point number 7. I think I've done probably more than 7 points. Darkness leads to the light. Darkness showcases the light. Well, that's the truth, isn't it? You can't have light without darkness. What the hell does that mean? Think about a single candle flame. Think about that. Think about it now being pitch black in this room, okay? Midnight. And all you can see is that light. The light illuminates the darkness. I'm actually going to now spray one of my sprays. This is called Light in the Dark, okay? This is the Indigo Spray. When we first created this, a lot of people, including myself, would be like, oh, I don't know if I want to spray that one. I want to spray all the pinks and the yellows and the, you know, pale blues. And I don't know if I want to go into this stuff, light in the dark. But actually, when you spray it, it's so safe, and it's about helping us to see our own shadow as well, but also helping us to see the darkness. I don't know what message wants to come through with this, so I'm just going to see. Okay, I'm just going to see with you. Let's spray it. Midnight Indigo. Metatron's saying it's just, you can't maybe see it, but if you look behind his picture here, let me just change the camera a little bit. Oh, I don't know whether I can get, maybe I'll just move the camera. Okay. Oh, I've got to stand up. Can you see that it's indigo? It's like an indigo sky with the little diamond sprinkles, the light in the dark. It's reflective of the wider cosmos, the void. So from that place of darkness, there is these speckles of light. Look what's come from that darkness and that void. Look at that power of that Metatron energy. Right. Let's just spray the spray now. As the clouds go over the sun and it goes pretty dark in the room. Okay. Midnight Indigo. What message is the please, Metatron? Stop running away from the darkness within yourself. Stop running from your own shadow. Stop running from your own fear. Stop running from your own prejudices. Stop running from your own tunnel vision. Stop running from your own judgments. Stop running from each other, but stop running from yourself. Stop running from yourself. We will do anything other than face ourselves. We will do anything other than face our own darkness. We want to project it onto anybody else. And we do it without even knowing that we're doing it. We project outward that this person is bad, even if they are. We can point the finger. It's safe for us to do that. It's easy for us to do that. What about looking within at the darkness that exists within yourself, which will be there and is there and cannot not be there, because you are made of both, of all shades of the rainbow. You are also made of, you come from creation, you come from the void, you come from the darkness. From the darkness, everything is created. And I'm being shown that we run from our shadow, because I'm being shown, imagine yourself now out in the sunshine, or just feeling good and, you know, full of light. And then I'm literally physically a shadow on the pavement, and I'm being shown this shadow that is absolutely massive. And it's like, that can't possibly belong to me. And it's got so big because it hasn't been, it's been it hasn't been properly integrated within. Start small is what Metatron is saying. Start with the next person who triggers you. Start with me if I trigger you. You know, start with anything. And then look at what that actually is. What that actually is. And it will stem from something unhealed and wounded within yourself. It also stems from, I've written down here cognitive dissonance, and that's the thing whereby when we're challenged to think in a new way and it contradicts something which we believe to be true, it's as though we have our own safe reality of what the world is and how the world operates. And what Metatron is encouraging you to do here via this video and this teaching is it's challenging some of those norms. It's so much easier, guys. It's so much easier to, well, it's not easier at all, but it feels as though it's easier to live in a state of separation where it's just like good and bad, and they're bad. We can ignore them, push them away. They're monsters. They've got nothing to do with me. I don't relate to them. You know, they're a different species of being. Really? No, they're not. There are aspects of that within you. If not in this incarnation, certainly in previous ones. We have to integrate it. I don't think there's much more I can say on that until I actually do the meditation. So I'm going to stop there, because Metatron's saying you've taken it as far as you can until we do the meditation, because he keeps saying to me until people can actually face what they've been in a past life, they're not going to accept. Some people are not going to accept it. Some of you I know are accepting it, but some people can't accept it. So we'll carry on with that in another video. I've got a nice example here of the fact that light also is more visible in darker times, in challenging times. It's as though it showcases the light better. And it's a guy that I've mentioned a few times recently on my videos. He's now Colonel Tom in the UK. He was Captain Tom, the guy who's just turned 100 yesterday, who's raised £30 million for the National Health Service now, just for doing 100 laps of his garden. And he's a true hero, you know, across the whole world, but especially here in the UK. And the point is that, you know, without wishing to get into all the stuff about the virus again, but, you know, it's a challenging time at the moment in the world. For a lot of people, this is the first period in their lifetime where they've really felt as though the walls literally are closing in on them, might have huge financial problems, might be ill, a lot of energy of fear and anxiety. It's not an easy time in our world. And at this time, which is not easy, it's very challenging, it's very difficult, there is this shining light that just comes out of the darkness in the shape of this guy, 100-year-old man, who just does something absolutely extraordinary. And we see him, we really see him, and we're witness to that light. And it's all the more apparent because of the collective trauma, fear, anxiety and darkness that is around at the moment. The light is illuminated by the darkness. It shines even brighter. Okay, I'm just going to go and get myself a drink and then come back. Back again. Not back again for long, actually, because Metatron is saying don't make this video too long because it's an important message and it needs to get out there. A couple of things I will end with, though. I want to show you one other card from the Metatron deck that is quite appropriate to what we've been talking about today. light and dark. But he also just wants me to mention this thing to do with respecting other people's process. And what he means by that is don't push the red pill stroke awakening on stage 1 awakening, we're going to call it, because it's not the true awakening. Don't push that stuff on people without a backup plan in terms of how you can tackle any emotional fallout as a consequence of presenting that to them. Okay, what I'm being shown in my mind's eye is it's literally like somebody getting you by the scruff of the neck. This is like when you share stuff without thinking about the consequences of the person that might then watch it, because you don't know what stage of awakening they're at, and equally you don't know what type of mental state they're in either. We're living in an age where there is a huge instances of mental health problems already. People with enormous amounts of depression, suicidal tendencies, and what Metatron is saying is to force the red pill onto people that are not ready for it is wrong. Okay, and so this again is one reason why I don't allow a lot of sharing of stuff on my channels, which is that I feel people find things when they're ready to, and if you found my video, you're ready to hear this as well. I'm being shown when you try and force stuff on people in terms of material that they're maybe not ready for, and indeed might not even be accurate. I'm being shown it's like you get somebody by the scruff of the neck, and Metatron's showing it's like you're getting somebody by the scruff of the neck and you're taking them to, and I'm being shown something like the Grand Canyon, but it's like the cavity, the hole, and you're just like saying to somebody, look there, look down there at what's there, and then you just walk away from them and you don't check back on, are you okay? Are you okay? And that I think is so wrong. I think that's so wrong, and it's going on all over the place in our spiritual communities at the moment. And I'm also seeing a lot of people who are, it's almost like an ego game that's out there in terms of, are you not awake yet? Oh, I red pilled 10 years ago. I knew this stuff 10 years ago. Have you only just discovered it? I hate all of that, guys. I hate all of that. What is that about? That is complete and utter ego. I'm sorry if I'm triggering people there by saying it, but I've got a platform. I'm gonna say what I want to say, because it's just what I'm observing is out there. That is not respecting other people's paths and other people's awakening process. People awaken when they're meant to awaken. What this video has tried to do is demonstrate that the main point of the awakening is actually to get to the violet pill. Okay, it's not just to remember that there's darkness out there. In every single incarnation you have had, there has been darkness, and there will be again, until we as a species choose to not do duality anymore and to step into something different, which is going to be unity consciousness. But until that time, we're just playing this dance. True awakening is remembering that we are both of these things. Okay, there we go. That's the light and the dark. Again, this is another card from the Metatron deck. This person is choosing light. They're choosing the light. But they're also very aware that they have this aspect that is behind them. It's a bit like that row of dominoes that I was shown by Metatron earlier. Okay, this is also a part of who they are. What they are walking towards is actually away from duality consciousness. They're walking towards the light. But what I mean by this is they're really understanding that within that light, it's the full spectrum. It's everything. Okay, it's oneness, it's unity consciousness. You cannot get to unity consciousness until you have integrated these two things. Anything else to say, Metatron? He says, no, you've probably said enough. I probably have. In all seriousness, is there anything else to say? Okay, he says, just mention the armour of God. Okay, armour of God. Make sure you're wearing the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, and feet that walk in peace. As I've said in other videos, I feel as I'm repeating myself, but sometimes people don't watch all my work. Allow the divine Metatron God to bring things up for healing in the manner and in the time that they're meant to. Okay, he's saying, let us get out of the way. What he means by that, all of you that are healers know this. It's something that I teach the people that I teach to heal, which is that you've got to get out of the way. Okay, you've got to get out of the way. So in terms of our planet being healed of a lot of the darkness at the moment, we have to get out of the way. For true healing to occur, you have to get out of the way. What do we mean by that? It means surrendering and allowing God in, trusting God's plan, trusting Spirit's plan. Sorry, that's me throwing a piece of black tourmaline around. Trusting God's plan. Part of the reason why we throw stones at other people, oh God, just threw the stone. Part of the reason we throw stones at other people, it's what Jesus taught. Those without sin cast the first stone. I love that. I love what he said there. Those without sin cast the first stone. That's a teaching in itself as well, because that, again, that's what we're doing. We're throwing the stones at others rather than holding the stone. Interesting, it's black tourmaline, which is to do with actually, let me look at my own darkness. Before I point the finger, even if it feels justified, let me look at my own darkness. When I've looked at my own darkness and I've fully integrated my light and my dark, I've seen myself in a lifetime where I'm the hero. I've seen myself in a lifetime where I did horrible things. I make peace with it. And I say to God, I am ready for the end to duality, because I see now that I have been both. And I also see that the people out there on the world stage are just playing the different roles. I'm at peace with that. Please let us move on towards unity consciousness. Also realising that God will clear up the mess that is currently here on the planet. The people that are doing the stuff that is being exposed, God will take care of that. We need to get out of the way. Then we can bring in that. We can move more towards the unity consciousness that will come in when we as a species have got there. Right now, there's part of me that thinks, my God, how long is that going to take? But the truth is, it starts with one person. And it's funny, one of you just sent me a card and it arrived literally before I was about to make this video. And it's this card, and it says, give to the world the best you have and the best will come back to you. So do your best. The meditation I'm going to do for you will help, but don't just wait to do the work until you get the meditation. Start on it now, okay? Ask Metatron to show you your shadow, your darkness, for it to come up in incremental ways which you are able to deal with and cope with. Yes, there are tools that I sell to help you with that. I'm not trying to be salesy here, but there are, so I'm going to say what they are. We've got 2 sprays, okay? Midnight Indigo, Light in the Dark, and Sunrise New Dawn. They are in my shop. They have channeled messages that go with both of them. They're about doing the inner work. They're about doing the shadow work. This one helps you see it. This one helps you move. It's this. These 2 sprays are sort of like the antithesis. They're what this is. Okay, it's about integrating that. You can also be working with the energies of sage. In fact, let me light some sage at this point, at the end of this video. I've just got a little bit to burn in here, so let's just light it. And forgiveness comes in as well, I'm hearing. Forgiveness. An energy of forgiveness, an energy of asking God for forgiveness for everything that we've been that was not of the light. Everything that we are now that is not of the light. Great humbleness there when we truly say that and we truly mean it. When we don't pick up the stone and throw it to somebody else. And particularly when we don't do it for entertainment. Okay? We're not just watching these videos and hearing these things for entertainment and throwing the stones. We're taking the stone, we're doing the work on ourselves. Let's end as we started with the blessing. Let's pull a blessing card. I'm wanting to say you can do this. I'm wanting to say to myself, I can do this. I'm wanting to say to us as a world, we can do this. The reason we've had all these lifetimes where we keep coming back and flipping the coin. Remember what I was saying about flipping the coin? You know, which one am I going to be in this lifetime? Is because we think we can't transcend this. We can transcend it. We have the best springboard to be able to transcend it at this time. The light is ever increasing. All of the upgrades we're going through is just helping us to transcend this, to choose something different. Look at that. As I say that, a blessing for solace and hope. And today is Beltane. And I do believe that Beltane is linked into the white goddess energy. Look at that. A blessing of hope. To come out of the cold. Duality is a cold energy, you know, flipping between these two extremes. Come out of the cold and towards the energy of Eden again. Not being separate from God. Let's just see what this card says. We're done with the book. 41. A blessing for solace and hope. So, actually, I'm going to read the last bit, which is the blessing. Solace is the balm and the antidote to the wounds that life can deliver. It is not personal, for being here is a great gift. Yes. And we live in times where in many ways we are safer than we have ever been before. But we are fed a diet of hopelessness from our cultures and media sources until we become overwhelmed with the troubles that seem to surround us. This blessing is for you to find your way back to sweetness, for the flower in bud to release its sweetness, for you to notice the shimmer of light upon water, the sheer pleasure of movement, the ease of a mind no longer racing over problems to be solved, but soft, intelligent, allowing the calm of life to steal back into your soul. This is the solace that keeps our hopes alive, the gift of good fortune that reawakens the candle of optimism that is within us, and the delight in the sheer whimsy of being here and being alive. It is the understanding that there may be little control, but we are no mere pawns in this life. We have our place in the world, and simply with our breathing in and out, we matter and we are doing enough. We are doing enough. To find solace is to find peaceful moments, small connections, to notice the thousands of gifts life has conferred upon us, and is to again invoke the divinity of existence without the fear of the future. Let hope give you lightness, draw away the pain and open you up again to the possibilities until you begin once again to relish the simple voluptuous truth of being alive. Yes, joy lifts the vibration. The simple, voluptuous truth of being alive. What beautiful words they are. Because this is the thing, the game of duality, of playing these different roles. It's like we're playing outside the Garden of Eden, okay? We're playing on, what Metatron is showing me is he's showing me Eden and Eden is symbolic, guys. Eden is linked into abundance, it's linked into beauty, it's linked into equality, it's linked into oneness with God, no separation, male and female linked, you know, unity consciousness. But we're outside of that at the moment, and we're playing in the dust courtyard outside Eden's gates. We just have to really, truly awaken. The Great Awakening is truly remembering that separation is an illusion. And once we remember that, we are allowed back into the gates, and humanity chooses a different way. And my God, it's time. The row of dominoes wants to fall and wants to take us back there. But we have to do our bit by working on ourselves. We also have to work on forgiving the people who are playing the bad ones in our society at the moment. And I know that's hard, and that's a whole other subject video to do. But throwing the stone, it's not going to achieve anything. Much love. 11 o'clock. 1 minute past 11. 11:01. If you don't believe me, look at my clock. I know you will believe me, but there's my clock. Can you see? 11:01. On the 1st of May. I'm now going to have a cup of coffee, and then I'm going to go. It's a beautiful. The sun's come out now. I've done this video. I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to blow the cobwebs away, and I'm going to say a prayer for us to be moving towards this. Much love, everybody. Please share this video if it's resonated, because I tell you what, we need to get this message out there. We need to get the message out there. With love, with thanks. See you next time. Bye-bye.